the city of Plano, and I'm joined by a number of my other colleagues here today. People, as far as our fire chief is here. Robin Popick, our volunteer resource supervisor. And a group of people that I work directly with in our communications center. We are the 911 center, police, fire, emergency medical dispatch for the city of Plano. We also operate a regional voice and data public safety grade communication system for a number of neighboring cities as well. Tammy Kennedy, our operations supervisor. Tim Moy is one of our shift supervisors. David Rollins and Terry Manning, shift supervisors. This is a little bit of a sneak attack, and I thank you for indulging us for just a couple of minutes, and I think it's appropriate in front of his peers. We'd like to recognize Fred Varian for a number of years of service for the city of Plano. Fred Varian, WD5ERD, is a very humble guy. He probably would never have come to an event if it was ever labeled as such. So this is long overdue and definitely a very simple presentation, but if I could take just a minute of your time to outline some of Fred's accomplishments for many years in Plano. We've been trying to put this together actually since last fall when our new emergency operations center opened, and once again we were reminded that Fred, without being asked, at his own initiative, without caring who got the credit, just stepped forward and made sure that that new EOC was ham radio capable and ready to operate. Yet it's been hard to get everybody together in the same room for this kind of a presentation. Fred's service dates back to the early 80s. As best we can guess with the city of Plano, something plus or minus 28 years. He has been through a full cycle of people already in the Plano. We had to reach back to retirees to try to recreate some of his earliest service. We're also joined now with our police chief, Greg Russian, is also here today. He was probably circling the parking lots trying to find a legal parking space. That accommodates why he's here now, but I think appreciate schedules to get two chiefs and the chiefs in the same room with all these other officials. It's great that it's been here at this special gathering. Fred was part of the first Citizens Fire Academy class that was formed here, Collin County K-9 search team. He was a charter officer of the Collin County Citizens Association. He was very active with the Collin County ARES, Plano Amateur Radio Club. I think of the field days, he's sitting out there, guaranteed to be the hottest day of the whole calendar. Fred will be sitting in a park underneath a little sliver of shade, hour upon hour, making sure the field days goes the way it's supposed to. HAMCOM leadership here in Plano, obviously this year heading up the flea market, I guess, and other activities. It doesn't just happen on its own. Fred has been a key player in all of that. As our Racy's area Skywarn Net liaison, Fred is the voice back to these people who are responsible for emergency management activities in Plano. The shift supervisors that I mentioned, when the spotters are activated, Fred is the voice of common reason. We're down in a windowless basement. The phones are ringing off the hook with citizens asking us what's wrong, what should we do, what's going on. And Fred, through the spotters, are our eyes and ears out in the field. And that ground truth, as most of you in the room will recognize, is absolutely critical. He, as I mentioned, did play a key role in outfitting the new room at the ELC Center, not too far from his house, but generally when the storms are hitting, he's in his house, eyes and ears, got the net activated, filtering the information coming back from the spotters, and then feeding it back for critical information from these people up front here behind me. I guess in closing, I could say the very best thing I could say about Fred, after being a volunteer myself for years, working with volunteers for so many years, Fred is that rare individual who really doesn't care who gets the credit. He just wants to make sure that the job gets done, and he does, over and over again, often reaching into his own pocket, often of his own initiative, as I mentioned. And for this one time, this is the 28th year award for Fred Varian. Fred, please come on up and join us. Robin
go over volunteers in Plano, give our group her hours and show up at the ceremonies. But Tim's comment's absolutely right. We're behind the scenes. These guys actually do it every year. Thanks, Jared.
Can you think of a better way to